What's up guys, I'm Rhett. Welcome back to Lawn Insider. If your lawn has taken a beating over the last few months from the constant high temperatures and lack of rain, then you'll want to stick around, because in today's video, we're going to cover how to fix an ugly lawn caused by drought and heat stress. So let's start out with the most obvious, but honestly also the most important thing that you're going to need to fix a lawn that's seen some damage from heat or drought stress, and that's going to be water. And in reality, we're mostly focusing on that drought aspect of it because Bermuda can handle some heat, and really the only time that heat really starts to become an issue for Bermuda is when it's paired with that extreme lack of water. And unfortunately, in my area and in most of Texas this year, we've seen that. We've been in a pretty bad drought. In New Braunfels, I know we've had less than probably 6 inches of rain all year. Luckily, we've seen a slight uptick in that lately, and there is some rain on the forecast too, so fingers crossed that that hits. But water is definitely the #1 thing you're gonna need to recover your lawn. So here's a shot of the backyard currently, and this is about 10 days post scalp. I scalped last week because I knew it was a water week, and I knew that I wanted to scalp and fertilize to get this yard headed in the right direction. And right now, I think we're well on our way. We're still probably at least a week, and more realistically, probably 2 weeks away from reaching our max potential, but it really all depends on the water. So let's not make it too complicated here. We want to put down between 1 inch and 1.5 inches of water over the course of 1 or 2 watering days per week. Your lawn is going to thrive more from deep, infrequent waterings than it is from frequent, shallow waterings. And here's a shot of how the front yard is recovering. And really the only time that watering should get any more complicated than that is when you have a situation like we have right now in New Braunfels, where we're only allowed to water every other week unless you're getting outside with your handheld hose. I think it's between like 8 p.m. and 10 a.m., which is great if you have the time to do that. But in that case, you just have to hope for a little divine intervention and help from Mother Nature. If you want to take a deeper dive into how to properly water your yard, I made a video all about it last year, and I'll link it in the description box below the video. And once you get that watering situation under control, you're going to start to notice something that you haven't seen in a few weeks or maybe even a couple of months, and that is brand new green Bermuda grass shooting through that dormant layer of turf. And when you start getting that popping up across your lawn, you need to start thinking about scalping. And when we scalp, we want to take it down as low as our mower will let us, and we want to bag those clippings and get rid of all that dead, dormant grass. And then over the course of a couple of weeks, your lawn's going to go from looking a lot like this to hopefully a lot more like this. And once you scalp your lawn, you're probably going to want to put down a fertilizer, and it can be any fertilizer, but the fertilizer that I use this time is the Yard Mastery Stress Blend 7020. You can see my assistant is testing it out here, but I've already used this a couple of times on the lawn. I used it before we did the leveling project as well, and so far, so good. I'll also probably come back in the next week or so and put out some Green Punch and Green Effect and maybe some microgreen, and those are liquid products, but right now we're just rolling with the granulars. All right, now we're really rocking and rolling because we've already got our watering down and we've put out some fertilizer. So we've got that new growth coming in. It's coming in nicely. There's really only one more major step in the road to recovery, and that is consistent mowing. I've said this, I know I sound like a broken record, but you want to mow Bermuda as often as you possibly can. So if you're real mowing and you're mowing low, then you're really thinking probably 3 times a week, unless you're under regulation. Right now, I'm not under regulation, so I'm going to get out here and mow as often as I can. If you have a rotary mower, you can probably get away with twice a week, but right now with Bermuda, if you're watering it and if you're feeding it, you probably want to mow at least twice a week. So that's what I'm going to recommend. I don't really want us to go any lower than that, because then you're going to run the risk of scalping. And then if you scalp, you kind of have to restart that whole scalping process, that reset button all over again. And we want to try to avoid that as long as possible. And that's really all it comes down to, y'all. You have to water it, which is the most important thing. You have to feed it, and then you have to mow it as often as you can. And if you can stay consistent with those 3 things, at the very least, you're going to have an above average lawn, and more than likely, you're going to have a very nice lawn. And one more thing that'll really, really help your lawn game is if you have a cute little apprentice. All right, y'all, hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave me a like. If you're liking the content and you want to continue to see more of it, hit that red subscribe button below. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave those in the comment section below. I'll see y'all again next week. Lawn Insider, out.